Welcome back to Star Trek Online, everybody. I am your host, the Housecoat Gamer. Today we're taking a look at the Akira-Class. If things will stop exploding. I'm really getting tired of people deploying those things outside of combat. Anyway, the Akira-Class. This is yet again another Lost Era design. Developed right on the heels of the Ambassador class, especially considering the ship's registry code. Take a good look. That is the Thunderchild's actual registry code. Now the Tier 3 version is kinda sucky. Fortunately, there is a Refit version, which sucks just as much, because it's Tier 3. Fortunately, it has a point defense console that shoots phaser pulses at fighter pets and instantly kills them. And they're not too fond of larger ships either. I've lost count how many times the NPC version of this thing hurt. Now, you can also get this ship in a Akira bundle from the C-Store, but I'll show that later. Here she is. The Armatage class. You might have noticed a bit of a theme here. With the exception of the Thunderchild, every C-Store variant of the ship is named after a manga or an anime. Akira, the famed OVA anime of yesteryear. I don't remember the exact date it was released, sometime in the late 80s. Very influential, to the point where Trek actually decided to make reference of it with the Akira-Class. Armatage? Armatage 3. Another influential cyberpunk anime, which turned this thing into a Escort carrier. In fact, the Akira was outright designed to be an escort carrier. She had a through-deck carrier bay, as you can see. See that big cyan thing right at the center? That's a through-deck hangar bay. This entire saucer section is a giant hangar bay. Those are doors. In fact, this thing used to be called an heavy escort carrier. You can guess how I feel about Cryptic changing the name. It was stupid. Escort carrier works. It fits. This thing is an escort carrier. It's not a full carrier. It doesn't need to be. It is a escort carrier, and I will always refer to it as such. That little rage moment out of the way. The Armatage is not a bad design, but I am of the opinion the ship needs a severe reskinning. It needs to be brought up to modern spec. This does not look good. But as with all things, she has a Tier 6 counterpart. If I can find it. It doesn't let me search the name of the bloody things. There she is. The Alita class, named after Battle Angel Alita. Oh right, I forgot. There is a Tier 5 fleet variant of this ship. Though, as you might be guessing, you know what I'm going to say about it. It's still not as good as Tier 6. The old joke. What's the best variant? It's always going to be Tier 6. I know some Tier 5 players are going to be going, I can get the ship at Tier 5, I can make it capable. Good for you. But when it comes to getting ships set up, I'm sort of lazy. Which means I go for the best option that is easily available, which is Tier 6. I'm also kind of cheap in that regard, so again, Tier 6. The Alita is not exactly my favorite skin. Again, all of these ships need to be brought up to proper spec. Maybe they'll save that for a legendary one, I don't know. What I do know is, this ship is nasty. For your enemies. It has pilot capabilities and a tactical, well, destabilized tachyon emitters, universal console, which ruins ships' shields. The Tier 5 version has a point defense photon torpedo launcher, which fires a volley of torpedoes. Not fun for anybody on the other end of it. And of course, if you've got the Tier 6 fleet, the Tier 6 version of this, you get the Tier 6 fleet variant. Which, of course, is the best variant, at least until Cryptic decides to go, okay, legendary time. Because, knowing them, they probably will. This is a very popular starship. Which is why it has the Akira got a significant reskinning. Originally, it used to look very different. But now for a bit of a rage moment. This is supposedly a development of the Norway class. I am not happy with this. The Norway should be a much the Norway is not the same size as the Akira. And the Norway should be featured on its own as a separate ship. A frigate, maybe. That's certainly a classification of starship. More maneuverable than a battle cruiser. Less hull, but certainly more maneuverable. That would be perfect for Norway. Instead, we're gonna be stuck with the Oslo. Hopefully we get the Norway sometime soon. Some ships just don't get the popularity they deserve. Speaking of popularity, tomorrow we're going to be going over to the most well-known starship in Federation history. Otherwise known as the ship that just won't die. Housecoat Gaming, signing off.